Hi, welcome back to the Absolute Human Podcast. I'm Jag.
And this is Sonia.
And today we're going to be talking about dogs. No, don't get too excited. I know you people like to have dogs and cats. And we like to talk about dogs and cats. No, we're going to talk about race.
That's right.
We're talking about something that's so important and it's everywhere in the news and it needs to come up. And the other day somebody asked me, they said, how are you coping with all this? And I was like, coping? This is the best time ever.
I know.
Right, we're talking about it.
Exactly. It's not so hidden or awkward for
Right,
people to even bring it up.
People of color live it every day.
Yes. This is not a individual moment that is happening.
No, this is really important, and this is vital that we actually talk about it and keep bringing it up. Keep bringing it up. I don't care about your posts about what you ate. I don't give a crap. I've erased so many people in the last few weeks on my Facebook just because they aren't saying crap.
Yes, that's true.
Let alone saying all lives matter, but people saying nothing is even worse sometimes because you have to be involved. You are involved. You're part of this society. You're part of this world. You can kick and scream to your evolution, but you're headed there because we're all headed there. Mm-hmm. Evolution is occurring. Racism, sexism, all oppressions are being contested and will be contested more and more. Yeah. And it will serve you as it serves everyone. This is vital for all of our liberation. We must look at this.
Right. And it's in that discomfort where the change actually happens, right? We can't just ignore it or be silent about it because we all know that that is being complicit and, in a sense, agreeing to it. But this is really an opportunity to really push up against those things that keep us from living a full life in the first place, or living a life where you can actually sit with your discomfort and see what's wrong. That's right. That's how things change.
Right. Your health is much more than eating avocado. I wanted to just read you a story that I just wrote an article just for on race, and it was about somebody who came to see me last week, and I was just really inspired about what she was talking about, and I just wrote about it.
Let's hear it.
I listened as she told me what the Russians had done to her sister. It was 1945, and everyone in her neighborhood was being slaughtered. The Russian soldiers were taking everyone. Rape, bullets, unspeakable horror and atrocities. Nobody was spared. They made her watch as they violated her sister and then maimed her mom. When they left, she put her mom in a wheelbarrow, then dragged her around the dead bodies that lay in the street to the next village for help. She had never told anyone about this day. She was told to forget. She was told to be quiet. See, the Germans were taught not to speak of such things, that their pain and suffering didn't matter. She learned to be stoic, to not notice, to hide the hurt. But she says she can't be quiet anymore. Something about the last few weeks has awoken her heart. She feels connected to the suffering. She won't be silent about what's happening here and to what happened there. Truth will always reveal connection. If you were here, if you were connected, you would cry out. If you could actually see what is happening, you would not stay quiet. You would not sit idly by and let such injustice continue. If you were here, you would speak. We have been coerced into silence. We have been persuaded to watch, to bathe in the numbness that keeps atrocities in place. How many times have you watched horrific scenes in movies and TV shows, and even on the news, and not shed a tear? You have seen the worst of humanity and learned to bite your lip. They have been training you into silence, training you to spectate, training you not to cry out. They have led you to the land of the silent witness, to observe and not be involved. But you are involved. You always have been. There are no bystanders, only the oppressors and the oppressed. The ones with the whip and the ones being whipped. Don't be fooled. Your silence has already chosen a side. No more spiritual bypasses. Either you can see or you just refuse to see. How convenient for some New Age gurus to let go of the past. They say they don't have any use for it. I'm sorry, there is nothing in any moral philosophy that rejects history. That idea is created by people who do not want to see the past, the ones who want to forget. History will be heeded or it will hinder. To know where you are, you must know where you've been. To be here now, to be fully present, you must accept all of you. Time does not stop and start when you choose. All the components of your past, your lineages, your own history, and all that may be yet to come is here in you, right here and now. I recently listened to a radio interview as a native elder was asked by a white man, "Why don't your people forget about the past and just move on? Forget about what was and be here now." He responded, "How does a person forget? Us Iroquois walk with 7 generations of the past and 7 generations of the future. We do not hide from who we were and who we are. I walk with my ancestors in every step that I take. How could I ever forget?" That is connection. Your people are good people. No matter what they may have done, they were not born malicious. They were coerced into silence and made hideous agreements. But they were good, and they made mistakes. It's time to unpack those mistakes. The closet is not concealed, and skeletons are not so hidden. We all can see truths. There is no consent in colonialism, no permission for pillaging. Museums are stolen, not given. Quit fooling yourself. If you reject your past, you cannot accept the present. That is why you are not here. That is why you are not connected. That is why you are quiet. For if you were here, you would cry out. What does it take to see and not speak? It takes centuries of numbing out and agreeing to an evil system that only benefits a precious few. Where 17,000 brown and black children will die of hunger today, while endless amount of food is destroyed to keep market prices high. You have sold your soul for an extra piece of bread. Just because your suffering looks less than some others does not mean it is not killing you. There is nothing worse in all of nature than numbness. Newborn eyes are naturally bound in warmth and compassion. They only see connection and community. Sadly, over time, we lose that connection and we lose people. The eyes that once reached for others no longer even look. The eyes can lose their warmth and even turn cold. If your eyes can witness another's pain and you do not cry out, you have become a stranger to the world. For it is not the man with a knee on his neck that will suffer the fires of hell. No, it is a knee that cannot hear a man cry out. It is a knee that keeps on pressing, that cannot even feel when life has drained from a man. That is hell. We are that knee. We are not seeing. We are not hearing. Make no mistake, the knee that killed George Floyd is the knee of silence. It is your knee. It is my knee. It is the knee that bends to the will of the kings and queens that demand silence from their subjects. For if you were here, you would cry out. Don't look away. Don't be conned into numbness any longer. Have your tears. Spill your anger. This is your world. Do not let them take your world. White is not a culture. White is a concept. Something sold to the masses to create a class system where the darkest are exploited. It is an excuse for the evils of humanity and the defense of their immorality. It is not culture. It is constructed, created to divide people through a sense of supremacy. If white is right, we know what is wrong. We were taught it in every insidious, invisible way. These unseen threads tie all of society to the idea of white supremacy. It binds us all to this idea of a color hierarchy. That is why, to have any impact on the exploitation of racism, the actual idea of whiteness must be abolished. Culture has never been about color. Culture is connection. A connection to people, a connection to history, a connection to community. Return to your culture. Know your history. Your people are good. They were once with the earth and lived in harmony with the garden. You must reconnect. Walk with the elders, sit with your people. To be here now, you must know what was. She cried and cried as she described the road to the next village. The streets lined with lifeless bodies, her mum slowly bleeding away in the wheelbarrow. I cried with her. How could I not? Years of silent pain was being lifted. Light was being cast on the coldest parts of humanity. She said she would never go quiet again. How can any of us? Your silence is deafening. It screams complicity and reeks of collusion. Do not be confused. I am calling you out. I'm calling everyone out. The knee on George Floyd is the same knee that has been pressing down on necks for 400 years. We are all part of this. This involves you. Stop being so obedient. I want you to rebel. Rebel against a system that keeps us all divided, a system that keeps us numbed out and keeps us isolated. Do not fall back asleep. Do not spectate. For if you were here, you would cry out. That's it. Yeah, it's a long one. But it was a story that really, when she was telling me it was really hit me. It was like, wow, this is some of the stuff that people have held back and not talked about their own stories of suffering. And so they cannot hear anyone else's. And when we get caught in just shoving it deeper and deeper down in ourselves, well, we just expect from everybody else. And so we create a society where, oppression is accepted, where hurts are agreed upon, and that we actually live in a system where people are being exploited every day.
Right. I had read that article. Hearing you speak it just, there's just so much power in there. Just even in that actual story of this woman who actually found a space to have her voice, and where she agreed to not be silenced, and just how you said about that knee of silence, and how our society is really set up to keep us in silence in so many different ways. It's becoming much more evident. The backlash against that society that creates that silence is much more evident.
Yeah, cancel culture. I'm all for cancel culture.
Yeah.
I love it. Because white supremacy has been canceling all other cultures on the planet for centuries.
Exactly.
It's time to cancel that culture.
Right.
So anytime we see any kind of supremacy like that, go for it. Let's all cancel it. Like Facebook just recently is accepting a lot of hate speech, and their algorithms actually contribute to the spread of hate speech. It's really confusing, and he's all about the money, obviously, and he knows what sells, and what sells is dynamic, conversations like that, which division. Yeah. Anyways, Coke pulled their ads for 1 month.
Wow.
Because they got pushed into it by certain groups that are anti-racism groups.
Right.
And so did many other companies, and Facebook quickly lost $7 billion.
Wow.
Great. Cancel it fully.
Absolutely. And I mean, on the one hand, it's really sad that it is, of course, the bottom line that forces a lot of these companies to make these types of moves. But if that's what it takes, that's where I'm wanting to put my money. And going on that, even the top 15 of the 20 top selling books in Amazon right now are about race.
Wow.
First time ever.
Wow. So people are talking about it.
People are talking about it. The top podcast right
What
now.
about dogs? What about cats? Videos?
I didn't see one on dogs or cats.
Oh, damn.
Yes. But
Canadians will be very upset.
well, actually, the Canadians are speaking out. Jagmeet Singh,
Yeah, he's awesome.
stood up and is not being silent. And I think just a great role model for the rest of us to really
Stop being so nice.
against that pattern.
Right.
Right.
Against white supremacy, against this idea. If you've been raised in the modern world, if you've been raised and you've read books anywhere on the planet, you've been raised with white supremacy.
Yes.
Colonialism spread throughout the whole planet and has taught people this certain notion, this color hierarchy that I was talking about.
That's right.
And in that color hierarchy, it creates a system where the darkest are always less than, to a point where their lives don't even matter.
Mm-hmm. And I think you said it best when you said that 17,000 children will die of hunger today, and most of them will be black and brown children.
Most.
All of them will be black and brown children.
Yeah. And it's not. It's really easy to understand how it happened. I mean, we just have to look at history.
Yes.
And you have to look at how colonialism spread throughout the planet, and just took. Before England went to India, India was the richest country on the planet.
Mm-hmm. It was.
And now the Queen and England has a lot of museums with India's stuff.
Yeah, that they stole.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, we have to look at these honestly, and people say, well, this is happening throughout the... Stop defending it, please. Stop defending it. We are evolving. We're moving forward. We're trying to understand how this world can be more connected. It is lonely at the top. We know that expression. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people in the Western world are disconnected. We are not connected to anyone or anything. Right. The best we ever do is a dog. And I'm not kidding. Right?
I know.
You have connection to one thing.
Yes.
But this is part of how white supremacy is played out.
Right. It's that individualism that gets taught that perpetuates this.
Yeah, I'm not going to wear a mask.
Right.
Why would I wear a mask?
Right.
I don't need a mask.
Yeah.
And that's part of the individualism. Mm-hmm. Where Hong Kong, Taiwan, and all
South
these
Korea.
South Asian countries quickly eradicated or even diminished COVID so easily by just having the common courtesy of wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm. Because you're doing it for somebody else.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
think
for
you're
yourself.
connected to everyone else.
Right. And as you said, with the quote with the indigenous elder, how he walks with 7 generations behind him and his descendants with him. Like, it's not just you in your own bubble existing here.
Right. Like, you're part of everybody. And that's part of the white supremacy is the individualism. And I think it's important. I'm writing a book on white supremacy. That's why I'm talking about it a lot. Well, I would talk about it either way.
Right.
But it's in all of our minds.
Yes.
We do not, when the aliens come, we do not think that it's going to be a man with a turban or a black woman that's going to meet the aliens.
Right.
We think it's going to be a white male.
It's internalized in all of our minds. Right?
Yes.
If you read a book and there's a character that is not described, it automatically defaults to a white person.
Yes.
Yes.
It's the norm. And why this is important for you, it's sometimes confusing to see. I know it's hard to see, but it is vital. It is vital for all of our evolution to understand the way everyone is oppressed on this planet. It is not serving you to have an extra piece of bread. It is not serving you to have these small little benefits to create this class system. Mm-hmm. This racism was only created to make way for the class system.
Right.
White was only created. White wasn't natural. It's actually more pink if you look.
Yes.
But it was created so it could be the excuse for the immorality that they did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's time to have those conversations.
Right.
Go talk to that ant.
Get uncomfortable.
Yeah, and start bringing it up with people. And, they're going to have feelings. And they're going to make noise. And I want you to, battle with them.
Right.
I want you to talk with them. One thing you can set up rules. I know because people in the West here, whenever we don't like something, we just leave people.
Mm.
It's part of the way the whole West was created.
Yeah.
Just keep going more west. But you can make some rules and say, hey, we're going to battle on this one, but we don't have to leave each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get to battle it a little bit without losing people.
That's right.
And every time you speak up and every time you say something, it contributes to you and your being, your liberation, your health, your everything. And it is more rewarding than anything that I can think of on this planet to lead and to walk towards ending oppression and moving towards liberation.
Right.
We're headed there either way.
Yeah, you coming?
Well, yeah.
Please come with us.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about this. We're going to bring this up, and sure, we might talk about foods and other stuff.
It'll just help us get there a lot faster.
Yeah.
A lot healthier. We want you to be strong so we can all do this work together. And like you said, nothing is going to be greater for your liberation or your evolution than doing this work.
Yes. And also to my Indo and Asian friends, you don't get a free pass.
No way.
No.
We have work to do.
Yeah, of course we do.
Oh, God, yes.
We can't sit there instead on the sidelines like that Tom Tuo did. I don't remember what his name is. On George Floyd, there was an Asian man, the Asian cop that stood on the side.
Yes.
Yeah, and he just watched.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. Us Asians, we watch.
Right.
Because we're the nice minority.
We're the model minority.
Yeah,
Right.
we're your doctors and your convenience store and your mathematicians and engineers.
Profs, yes.
Stop it.
No. We got to get in there. We got to get dirty. Our lives are on the line just as much.
Yeah. Speak up. And we are a part of the problem.
Right.
We don't get a free pass out of this.
We have so much privilege around this that we
gosh.
need to take
The color hierarchy is real.
Yeah.
In every country and every part of the planet. Mm-hmm. Dark is worse.
Yeah.
And we know it with our culture.
That's what we've been taught.
Yeah, we've been taught. We've been trained this way. All of us have been trained this way.
Mm-hmm.
And so we definitely have to speak up, and we got to get our people to speak up.
That's right. Bring everybody with you.
Yeah. Right?
Right? It's like cancel culture, but with your friend group
yes.
or family. And
Definitely.
I don't mean to just leave them, but like you said,
right.
Contest them.
Yeah.
Bring them along.
Yeah, bring them along.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it. Until we talk again next time, have those conversations. Speak with people. Don't let this go away, because it's not going to. And for once, just for once, be on the right side of history.
Right.
We're going there.
Yeah.
There is no turning back now.
Yeah. Let's go together, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Jag. This is Absolute Human Podcast.
I'm Sonia. Thank you so much.
We'll talk next time.
Bye, everybody.